Hello and a good morning, good afternoon and a very good evening to you, the good morning people of YouTube. Hope today you're feeling grand and all's well in your world. Hello everybody. First things first, I apologise about my mood today. I just woke up feeling massively low, so hence the hood and feeling rubbish in myself and being Dave today. I hate being Dave today, let's put it that way. Anyway, enough on that. I thought I'd get out of the way before we start today's A&Q. If you want to submit a question for A&Q Wednesday, PeopleTube, please go to the description box below. I don't answer questions I've already answered multiple times, so if your question doesn't appear, it probably means I've already answered it before in a previous A&Q. If you go back in time, we're all in a playlist. You can scroll through the questions that I've already answered. I'm also getting quite a few questions recently that I've actually answered in full-length videos. Quite a lot on like John Frusciante's tone and stuff like that, and I've got a lot of videos on how I achieved like the approximation I have of John's tone and certain things like that, and also people asking like certain questions like how to get certain sounds, and as like I said, I've got videos on all this stuff. So just type in the search bar what you're looking for. It should pop up. If not, just search my channel. The videos will be in there somewhere. I don't know how many videos I've got now. I've got a lot, but like I say, I've covered a lot of things. So if I haven't answered your question on what you're after, I've probably done a video on it or answered it in an A&Q. So please go back and look at all the videos I've done in the past. It'll be in there somewhere. So anyway, so I hope that's out of the way. Let's get to question one today. So question one today, PeopleTube, is how did you get introduced, discover the guitarists or musicians that inspire and influence you? So basically, how did I find people who inspire and influence me music-wise? Initially, because obviously it's a mad thing to say, but when I started playing guitar, YouTube obviously wasn't a thing. It wasn't going to be a thing for a long time, and I didn't have the internet. I didn't even have a computer apart from PlayStation. So there wasn't any of that, and that's mental to think that now, PeopleTube. It catches me off guard every now and again. Like when I first started, even when I first started learning playing guitar, I didn't even have a mobile phone. It wasn't until I got my first mobile phone in 2003 because I couldn't afford it. I got my first one then, and it was what was it? Motorola V50 or 60. It's a little flip phone. I've still got it. It's cool. It doesn't work unfortunately, but I've still got it. It was tiny. It was about this big. Anyway, but like say when I first started playing guitar, all we had was magazines, and DVDs and VHSs of live performances. Like a lot of us. It's quite. Does anyone else get this feeling? It's such a strange feeling to kind of go, well, when I first started playing guitar, there wasn't YouTube or any of that. It's really strange. It's a really, really odd feeling. So it's amazing to think how far things have come from there. And that was only 2002. So it's it seems like a blink of an eye ago to me, but it's not. 2002. That's 20 years. My lord. That's crazy. I've been playing guitar 20 years in May this year. I like that. That's cool. Anyway, PeopleTube, that reminiscing aside, how I got introduced to people like John Frusciante and Jimi Hendrix and people like that, it was just through friends and magazines, guitar magazines. I remember finding John Butler. I've still got the guitar magazine, actually, funny enough. I got a guitar magazine on Rory Gallagher, and it had an interview, a very small interview with John Butler. He was just coming up at that point in time. And I was like, oh, I really like the idea of what he does. The thing that caught my eye about John Butler was when he said he ran a 12-string acoustic for a Marshall Super Lead 100 watt. And I was like, what does that sound like? So eventually I had to go and find him out. And I got the Sunrise Over the Sea album. I think it's called Sunrise Over the Sea. It's the one with What You Want and Zebra, I think, on it and stuff like that. It's a great album, incredible album. That man's a genius anyway. John Butler's amazing. If you haven't seen John Butler, PeopleTube, go and look him up. He's amazing, absolutely amazing, lovely guy as well. By the seems of it. So anyway, he's one of those people I'd love to meet. Anyway, But John Frusciante, I mean, oh, and also TV as well. TV kind of top of the pops. That was kind of another thing. That was how I found John Frusciante. I mean, I've told this story a million trillion times. But like I said, what happened was, we were just watching. There was I'd heard By the Way on music television, and I taped it off the top 20. My mum always used to listen to the top 20 every Sunday. She would do the ironing and put the top 20 on. And I remember I just started playing guitar, and I heard By the Way at a friend's house on one of the music channels. It was the music video. And it just stuck with me straight away. I just loved it straight away. I wish I could find a tape I've recorded it on, because you've got like the top 20 announcement before and after. It's really cool. But I'd heard that song like that, and I knew it was going to be on the radio. I knew it was going to be a hit. Well, I didn't know it was going to be a hit. I wasn't that kind of thing, but I knew it was going to be on the radio as a hit. You know, I knew it was in the top 20. Let's put it that way. And so I got my tape and went downstairs into the kitchen where my mum was doing the ironing, put my tape in, ready to record it. And when I mentioned the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who I'd never heard of before, I clicked record and play and got it. And then I tried to figure the song out, and little did I know what was going on at that point in time. I barely started playing guitar at that point in time, so I could barely play guitar at that point in time. So I was like, I have no idea what's going on. So it was strange, really, because I had mentioned it to my brother. What do you think to this? And we both liked By the Way. My brother was looking in the Radio Times one night to find a Top of the Pop special on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They'd obviously done... It was a promo thing, basically, for the By the Way album. And Johnny, my brother Johnny, he said, oh, the Chili Peppers are doing Red Hot Chili Peppers are doing a Top of the Pop special. We should watch it. But yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be really cool. I'd love to see what they're like. So I've still got the VHS of that original recording as well. I've still got it on VHS tape. Because we recorded it. You know, I thought, well, you never know what you might want to learn. And also if it's live performance, which again, back then was kind of hard to come by, watching people live, unless you got the VHS or the DVD, you know, at that point in time. And there wasn't much of that. You know, you were left to kind of like, you know, figure it out yourself. And it was nice to kind of see people play, especially being a learning guitarist. So we watched it. It was at 6 o'clock on BBC 2 or BBC 1, I forget now what channel it was. Anyway, we filmed it, and like I say, they started to give it away, and I was like, that's really cool. And I just loved John's guitar tone from the get-go. I had no idea what was going on, but like I just loved it. It just got me straight away. And then they did By the Way, and then they did Under the Bridge, I believe. I think that's the order of it. I'm a bit hazy. Again, my brain's a bit foggy today, people too, so bear with me, please. I do apologise for my mood. But it wasn't until Under the Bridge I was like, the jaw dropped, and I was like, what is that? And like I said, I immediately, once that programme was over, I immediately had to learn Under the Bridge and understand that style. And that was how I got into John Frusciante. You know, it was there onwards. And then, weirdly enough, actually, the next month after that, or was it the same month? I don't remember now. Because I'd literally only just started playing guitar. It's crazy how it literally happened in weeks, the thing with John Frusciante. It's literally happened in weeks. Because technically I started playing guitar at 15, but not really. I didn't get my first proper electric guitar, and I didn't really dedicate myself to it completely until I was 16 years old and I got my first electric guitar. Because when I was 15, I started playing guitar when I was 15, really, on my sister's nylon string guitar, when I heard my dad and my sister playing guitar. And but it didn't really kind of like, I didn't really do anything until I got my first electric guitar. That was when I really went for it. But like I say, that when I was 15 years old, that's when I started listening to music again, coming out, like, well, I didn't really come out of the dark time at that point in time, but it was on the mend from the crap I'd experienced from school. So I started listening to music again. I was listening to like Green Day, Linkin Park, Offspring, you know, Nickelback, people like that. You know, bands that kind of just appealed to me. And it wasn't, like I say, until I heard By the Way, Chili Peppers weren't a thing for me. And that was how I found them. Then that's how I found John, basically. And like I say, literally like a couple of weeks after that, my brother was in town. and he saw a magazine with John Frusciante on the front, and he bought it for me. I wish I still had it, but it's gone, and I'm kind of gutted about that because, well, I would just love to have that magazine because that was my first introduction to John Frusciante. I think it was like, I don't know what it was, a guitarist magazine. There's a picture of John on the front with it with his red Jag. I don't know. Anyway, that was how I got introduced to John. Jimi Hendrix came about maybe about a year and a half, maybe later. Jimi Hendrix came about through a friend of mine called James. He said, "Have you ever heard Jimi Hendrix?" And I was like, "Nope, no. Who's he? Never heard of him." And he showed me Voodoo Child. At that point in time, we were both on this kind of college course, and he showed me Voodoo Child, and that was just life altering again. Another life altering moment. I was like, "Wow, what is that? What is that?" And obviously, like Green Day and Offspring, I'd listened to Green Day and Offspring a lot when I was young. Even before I went to secondary school and everything went kaput, I listened to Green Day and Offspring with my brother. We both really loved it. And also bands like Nirvana. Nirvana were a massive part of my childhood, and Oasis as well. Oasis and Nirvana are probably the biggest bands, the most kind of biggest bands in me growing up, because they were the bands who were there from the start. I always remember listening to Nevermind and Incesticide and What's the Story, Morning Glory and Be Here Now and Definitely Maybe, and also the singles. The Oasis singles, like you get like songs like Rocking Chair and Underneath the Sky and stuff like that. All these songs, even now, they make me feel. It's actually helping me. This People Who Tube, funnily enough, it's making me feel nice inside again. It's kind of getting the horribleness out of my brain. It's making me feel good actually, which is nice. It takes me back to that period of time, and it makes me just feel happy again. And considering the way the world is, we all need that right now. I think it's ridiculous, absolutely crazy what's going on right now. But yeah, so. But again, like I said, when I was 15, I started. I wanted a CD player. I started getting back into music. I got my brother's old Oasis. My brother had gone into like house music and dance music at that point in time, so his Oasis CDs and singles weren't being listened to. So I listened to them and Nirvana. And the first album I bought myself with my own money was Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. And I still love that album to this day, and it's really sad, really, because you go back to an album like Hybrid Theory, and you listen to Chester Bennington's lyrics, and it's like the writing's on the wall. It's so like Ian Curtis with his lyrics, and quite a lot of these other people with their lyrics, Kurt Cobain being one of them. The writing's on the wall there. Really, these people are hurting. Anyway, but that's how I got introduced to them. Again, it was mainly through friends and guitar magazines and television. And then YouTube came about. I remember stumbling across YouTube, actually. I was looking for a video on I got a guitarist magazine with a DVD, and on there was a guy called Doyle Dykes. Doyle Dykes is literally one of the most amazing guitarists ever. And I really wanted to know more about him, and I was looking around the internet, and funny enough, I was in this exact room. I was sat literally just there. This is where our computer was in like 2000, and probably about 2008. It would have been 2008, yeah. YouTube came. When did YouTube start? Did YouTube start in 2008? I forget, PeopleTube. Let's have a look quick. 2005. Okay, so it can't have been no, it wouldn't have been 2008. I haven't been to London yet, Dave. You're getting your dates mixed up. So that started in 2000. YouTube started in 2005. So it must have been 2006 then, because it was before I went to London. I went to London in 2007, so it must have been 2006, 2005, somewhere around there. It was very early days of YouTube. Anyway, this video came up on the thing called the YouTube, and I was watching Doyle Dykes play. Anyway, that's how I found people like that, and it was through YouTube I actually found Rory Gallagher, which, I'm extremely happy about as well. I just stumbled across him doing Bad Penny in Paris one night, and in this room as well. And that was that. I found a lot of people through YouTube, which is really, really cool. And YouTube is gorgeous for that. It really is. You can find so much stuff on it. It's a shame the way it's kind of gone and going, YouTube. But compared to how it was when it kind of first started out and what it was, and but it's still cool. I still am grateful to YouTube and everything. Because without it, I wouldn't be employed, basically. I'm a very unemployable wretch. I've been there, done that. I get fired a lot. Anyway, but that aside, you're very nice to yourself today, aren't you, Dave? Yeah. Anyway, but that's how I found people. Again, it was through friends, magazines, and TV back in the day, and also kind of like listening to my dad. My dad's always been a big music fan, like, with punk music and folk music and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, I remember growing up and listening to the Pogues and, punk music. I mean, I grew up listening to punk music and the Pogues. That's what I grew up listening to. And then when, Oasis came about, listened to them and Nirvana. Oasis and Nirvana were the two main bands at that point in time. And then obviously everything went wrong for me at secondary school, and I didn't listen to anything. I wasn't interested in anything. I was interested in one thing and one thing only. And then when I came out of that and heard my sister and my dad start playing guitar, my sister started playing guitar and my dad, and they were jamming around, I was like, that's really cool. And basically, like I say, guitar and music saved my life. I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for these things. It's as simple as that, If my sister hadn't took up guitar, and again, it was my sister who basically inspired me to play the guitar in the first place. It was hearing her play that made me want to pick it up in the first place and go into this room here and say, can you show me something on that nylon string acoustic? Basically, it's her fault. But I've never been so grateful to somebody in all my life. Well, my sister's like, that's the first kind of person really who inspired me to play, because when I heard her playing, I was like, wow, what's that? I need to know what that is. And that was where my love for guitar and music came from, and it's never gone away. And it saves me every day. It really does. It just gives me that release, even when I struggle. Like today, for instance, I'm struggling today. Much to the dismay of me and unfortunately Queenie, who I'm trying to get out of this, so I'm not bothering anybody, because I don't want to bother people with this. It's not really fair. But anyway, so there you go, PeopleTube, that's it. So that was a long answer. I do apologise, that was very, very long. But hopefully that answers your question. I'm going to move on to question 2 now. It's only question 1. So question 2 today is, how do you achieve the John Frusciante solo album tone for Inside of Emptiness, Will to Death, and Curtains? I don't know. I mean, it could be anything. I mean, it's not a DS2. It sounds to me more like John's just plugging into a Silver Jubilee on those albums. It doesn't sound like John's using, to be honest, any pedals. But maybe on the Look On solo and obviously certain things he's using pedals, but it's very minimal. It's more. There's no DS2 on any of those albums. There's no chorus ensemble, I don't think. There's nothing, because it wasn't until the Empyrean John said that he used the stuff he used in the Chili Peppers to play on that album. You can really hear that as well. All his solo albums up to the Empyrean, he used other things. I mean, the DC EP is a Les Paul Jr. he borrowed off a friend. That entire EP, those 4 songs, I recorded on a Gibson Les Paul Jr. And to me, the soul albums, they just sound like he's using. Obviously, there's Stratocasters in there and the Telecaster, and you can hear those. But it sounds to me like there's that 335 on there. There's Les Pauls on there. There's all sorts on there. And invariably it sounds to me like John's just plugging into a Jubilee, or he's I don't know if he ever cranked his major up into that kind of territory. I'm sure he does. But like it sounds very minimal on certain fronts. Inside of Emptiness, he's got it. I mean, the first song on Inside of Emptiness, which I forget the name of now, because I'm terrible with song names. But that first song on Inside of Emptiness, that just screams Marshall and some kind of humbucker guitar cranked to the teeth. It doesn't sound like a pedal, it sounds like an amp. It really does. It doesn't sound like anything other than that. But again, I could be wrong. But at the same time, you get the Look On solo. The Look On solo sounds to me like it's maybe got like a booster, maybe the MXR microamp. I don't know. But again, knowing that John didn't use anything that he used in the Chili Peppers at that point in time, it could be anything. It could be a tube screamer. It could be one of a million things. Who knows? But what I would say mainly for that sound, especially that electric guitar sound, if you're going for the electric sound, it was supposed to be a really raw sound. And to me, most of the time, it sounds like he's using humbuckers. There's obviously songs with single coils on there, but for the main distortion songs like Look On and certain songs like A Firm Kick even, and what is that first song? Oh, God, I can't think of the name at all. It sounds like he's using like a humbucker guitar. Les Paul, could be a Les Paul, it could be any other, it could be an SG, it could be, who knows? I mean, for all I know, it could be the Gretsch White Falcon. I don't know. It could be the 335. I don't know, but a lot of those kind of really crunchy rock tunes that sound like just a humbucker into a Marshall. It's more an amp sound than it is kind of like a pedal sound. It's just there's something about the tonality of it. It just stinks of a Marshall amp driven, cranked up, and it sounds like a Jubilee most of the time. There are certain sounds where I'm like, that sounds like a Plexi. But most of the time I'm like, that sounds like a Jubilee. You know, it sounds like one of those old Jubilees kind of wound up on channel 2, on the distortion channel. You know, they've got a certain thing to them. In all fairness, the Look On solo could very, very easily just be the Jubilee with a humbucker guitar, you know, because the Jubilee does have a lot of gain in it. It really does. So you don't really need pedals with it, to be honest with you. You've got enough. But again, John said he didn't use anything he used in the Chili Peppers. So is it a Jubilee? Might not be. Might be something else altogether. I mean, it's cool to speculate, and I love speculating on like what John could have used. I mean, I spend hours doing that kind of thing because I love it. You know, I get enjoyment from that. So who knows? But I would say it's more of a, you know, if you're going for that sound, you know, you want to go for kind of like a fairly mid-rangey kind of grunty, not full out distortion. You know, especially not for the rhythm bits anyway. It wants to be kind of like, you know, broken up overdrive kind of sound, you know, and then for solos, like sticks something over the top, like an overdrive or a distortion turned down a bit more, just to kick it into that kind of like singy territory. But for songs like the first one, Inside Emptiness, and some of the guitar parts on The Will to Death and Curtains, it wants to be, you know, just a cranked up amp, really. It could be even a Fender amp. It could be a Showman. It could be a Fender Showman. Showmans have that kind of grind. Very possible. But again, that's what I would say is, like, you know, you want to go for a lot of mid-range, a lot of low end, not a lot of treble, really. Preferably something with humbuckers, but maintain the clarity of them. You need to balance them. And obviously there are songs like I'm Around that is just distinctively single coils and a Stratocaster. But a lot of those songs just sound to me like humbuckers. You know, a lot of those guitar tones sound like humbuckers. They really do. You know, it could even be his Jag. I mean, who knows? He's never been really very forthcoming with information on that kind of stuff. On the Empyrean, he was very forthcoming because he did a lot of press for that album. But he, like I say, he used what he used for the Chili Peppers on that album, so it kind of, you know, kind of makes sense what he used, and you can kind of hear it anyway. Anyway, so anyway, I hope that's answered your question. That doesn't feel like an answer, but hopefully it is. Like I say, you just want to crank up your amp more than anything. Yeah, that's what it is. It's just a cranked up amp sound. You know, when there's electric guitars on those albums, it just sounds like a wound up amp. Some of those actually sound like really small watt amps as well. They don't sound like particularly. Some of them don't sound like 100 watt Marshalls. Some of them sound like little 15 watt Fenders, and certain other amps sound like little low powered Marshall-y kind of amps. You know, they don't necessarily sound like. There's distinctive AC30 tones on there as well. Like, I can't think of exact sounds, but some of these songs sound like AC30s. What's that one thing? Inside a Break. I think that to me sounds a bit AC30. I mean, it probably isn't, but you know, there's John does use AC30s, and there is a distinct thing of that anyway. So anyway, I've got to move on, PooTube. So I have this question. I'm going to move on to question 3 now. So question 3 is just wondering, have you changed the pickups on your 59 Revelation? Mine is a zebra in the bridge. No, I haven't changed the pickups in my Revelation. I don't need to. They're perfect. The only thing I've changed on my Revelation is the finish, because I stripped the top off. I got rid of the cherry burst. I've changed the machine heads because the D-string machine head that came with originally, although it held tune really well, had so much take up, it was just a bit distracting and a bit of a pain, to be honest with you. So I changed the machine heads on it now. And I've changed the knob covers, and that's it. Other than that, I ain't done anything to it. The electronics are still what it came with. I don't feel the need to change the pickups in that guitar. Though, like I say, they are absolutely perfect. They're just amazing. So yeah, no, I haven't changed it. You have a zebra in your bridge. I don't know what mine is. Is mine a zebra? I can't think straight today, people tube. But I'm pretty sure mine is, isn't it? I don't remember. No, I don't think it is. No, I'm thinking of my my vintage Peter Green. That's got a zebra in the neck pickup, or is it the bridge? Who knows? I don't remember. I haven't had those covers off for ages. And I don't remember right now because my brain is not being kind to me. Let's just put it that way. Anyway, but no, I haven't changed the pickups on that. There's just literally no need to change the pickups on that. It's the same as this guitar. Like I said, the only thing I do to pickups is I de-wax them. I did it with the Revelation as well. So when I got this guitar, I had the pickup covers off, and I actually prefer the sound of this guitar without pickup covers. So they never. I was going to put them back on, but it sounded so good without them. I thought I'll leave them off. And I just take all the wax off. Go in there, get all the wax out, get rid of it all, and unpop them basically. Because I don't really like potted humbuckers. I reckon it kind of kills them. It kills the sound. But again, same thing with this guitar. That is, other than that, it's not really. I don't really change things. I'm not really a modding kind of guy. If I like the guitar for what the guitar is, I don't really want to change things. It's very rare I have to change it. The only time I ever really change things is if something breaks, like if a pot breaks or a jack socket goes or whatever. Machine heads die or whatever. I'll change things then because I need the guitar to work. It needs to be functional. But other than that, if I love the guitar, invariably I want to keep it as stock as possible. Bar aesthetic changes, like say for instance, pickup covers on guitars. For instance, like some of my guitars sound better with pickup covers. Some guitars sound better without. I think the vintage Peter Green, I had the pickup covers off for ages, and I thought I preferred it until I heard the Revelation. And when I got the Revelation and put the pickup covers back on the Lemon Drop, the vintage, I was like, I prefer that with covers on to uncovered. So they stayed on from that point on. They'll never come off again. The same with the Revelation neck pickup. For a while, I had the neck pickup cover off on my Revelation RTL59. I just had it off, and it was cool. But when I put it back on again, I was like, no, that's the sound I want. And when I took the pickup covers off this and just went to see what it sounded like before I put the pickup covers back on, I was immediately like, I know they're not going back on. I know what they'll do to the sound. I know I don't want that. So they're going to stay up. They're staying off. I mean, will they stay off forever? Who knows? I might put them back on in a couple of months or a year's time or whenever. I don't know. But for this point in time, I'm loving the sound of this guitar without them. I don't know. It just sounds. This is my favourite Les Paul I own right now. It really is. It's just amazing. And in fact, it's a gold top. It's just like a frigging beast. I don't know. I'm so happy. I love this guitar to pieces. I absolutely do. It's so cool. It plays like a dream as well. It sings. Like I say, it's going to be a live guitar. This one. You're going to see a lot of this guitar, people tube. This one's one of those guitars that's not going to go anywhere for a while. But like I say, yeah, I don't really mod my guitars. I fix my guitars if they break, but other than that, I don't really like modding. I'm not really a modding kind of guy. I don't really get much enjoyment from soldering. In all fairness, I hate soldering. I can't stand it. If I've got to solder something, it's like, ooh, such a upheaval. I don't enjoy doing it. I'd much prefer somebody else to do it. Because I really don't enjoy it at all. It's really dreary to me. So the idea of modding a guitar is just kind of silly. To me, because it gets my back up most of the time. I don't enjoy doing it. I was fixing a guitar lead the other day, and oh god, I could lose my mind just fixing a guitar lead, just resoldering a guitar lead, because I just don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy doing that kind of thing. And when it comes down to if a pickup dies and I have to change it, it's such an upheaval. And I always have so much kind of if I buy a guitar, it's because I love the guitar. I've got no desire to change it, if that makes any sense. I know I've got friends who will buy guitars and immediately change everything about it. But I'm not like that. And like I say, when I played this guitar, for instance, in Anderton's, I knew I couldn't leave without it, and basically it was just making it more me. Basically, that was the job I had. It wasn't really difficult. Like I said, I knew I wanted to unwax the pickups the moment I walked out the shop with it, because again, I don't like waxed pickups, and I always think if they sound close to how I want it, or sound amazing like this did, to how I want it with wax potted pickups, when I get rid of the wax, it'll sound even more like I want it. And this one is just, to me, this is my perfect Les Paul sound. It just is, it really is. I just love it to bits, and it's just got the one up on the Revelation. I'm gonna do a shootout one day, people tune, between this and the Revelation. Let's we'll do that. But again, this one, because they feel so similar, it's probably the same factory, but this one's just got different pickups, and it's just got a bit of a different vibe, and it's a gold top. So that's always a bonus for me. Anyway, but yeah, I haven't changed the pickups. Like I say, I'm not really a modding kind of guy. Okay, so final question of the day, people tune. Question 4. So, I would like your opinion on how a player actually finds out what guitar is their best choice based on what they feel happiest playing and what guitar would really suit their style. So basically, how do you find out what guitar is for you? You just play everything. It's as simple as that. For me, I've got like a top 4, if you will. Stratocasters are at the top. Strats just feel like they were made for me. It sounds really ego-y, that one, but it's not in the fact of, that kind of thing. It's just they feel like, oh my god, that's amazing. Below that are Jaguars, and then it's Flying V's and Les Pauls. Those 4 styles of guitar are just exactly what I want in a guitar. They just work really. I don't know. They just feel great. They do what I want to do, and they let me do what music wants of me at any given point in time. Like for instance, like today, music wanted the gold top for the intro jam. I can really get in here and get out of this guitar what the feel that, well, I don't know, maybe I can, I don't know. The way I feel hopefully comes across through the guitar, but that's what I'm working on, people tube. Anyway, I'm not anywhere near that yet, but hopefully somewhere along the line. But yeah, so you just got to play everything, and it'll eventually find you. I mean, for instance, like when I first started playing guitar, I had Stratocasters. I had a Squire Strat, and then I had my black 1989 Korean-made Strat. And they were great, and they still are great, but I wasn't kind of like, oh, that's it, I'm sorted. Because as soon as I got my Epiphone Les Paul, because I was like, oh, I love this Les Paul. So I had my Epiphone Les Paul, and I was like, oh, and I played my Epiphone Les Paul way more than I played the Strats in that period of time. I got my Epiphone in 2003, and I played that straight for like a year. That was my guitar. The Les Paul was my guitar, and it wasn't until 2004 when I got my white Strat that all of a sudden I was like, there it is, and that was it. And like I said, that's why I judge every guitar I own, even Les Pauls. Even it doesn't matter what style of guitar it is. If they don't speak to me on the same level that Mr. White speaks to me, I'm not really interested in it at all. There are certain guitars that I've bought that have grown on me. I used to have a red Stratocaster, Candy Apple Red, which I eventually sold. It came to the end of its kind of like tenure with me. I get this with a lot of guitars. Like there's certain guitars in my collection, amps and pedals, that when I first get them, I'm like, oh, this is just like, a thing. But after a period of time, you start to kind of like go, this has got a bit of a lifespan with me, and you kind of need to be aware of that. And it's something I've started to realise recently more than anything, PeopleTube, is like, when you think you've got something kind of, I'm going to keep this for life, never say never. Because you don't know. You don't know. You don't know when that kind of like that tenure might run out. There are obviously guitars I will never get rid of. Even though I don't play them a great deal anymore, I will still never get rid of them. You'd have to prize them out my cold, dead hands. But there are certain guitars that I've said about in the past where I'm like, I'm never getting rid of this guitar, and then I'll sell it. Because, in all fairness, I've done that in the past. And in all fairness, most of the time it's been through necessity of I've had to pay for something for my van, or I've had to pay for fuel costs, or to pay for something like, I've got to get food, or I've got to go to the dentist, or whatever. I've had to sell things for certain reasons. But invariably, sometimes I've sold things and in all fairness, some of probably the main guitar I regret selling most was my Revelation Finline Jaguar, Fiesta Red Jaguar thing. It was like a Jazzmaster Jaguar thing. It had 2 humbuckers. And that is a guitar I never should have sold. Ever. That was stupidity. I had other guitars I could have sold at that point in time which I wasn't attached to, but I for some reason thought, hey, I'll get rid of that one. Even though I was using it and playing it every day, I had no idea what was going on in my stupid head when I sold that guitar. In all fairness, people too, that guitar, I still miss that guitar to this day. That guitar is gone, never to come back. And it breaks my heart that I was an idiot. I should have sold another guitar. I had plenty of them that I could have got rid of at that point in time, but no, I kept the others, and which, oddly enough, I eventually sold as well. And got rid of the one I really loved, and I still regret that to this day because that guitar was beyond special, and I should have kept it. And I just didn't, and it's stupid. But I do feel that, certain guitars, certain amps, certain pedals that you get in your life, they have a lifespan with you before they have to go to somebody else. My vintage gold top that I used to have with P90s, that had a lifespan with me. That's another guitar that I wish I hadn't sold, but to be honest with you, I kind of don't regret selling it. The Rory Gallagher tribute Strat is one I should not have sold. I should have kept that one. That was stupid. We've all got this, haven't we, though, people too? We've all got rid of something we shouldn't have got rid of. And there's a few others that I'm kind of like, but it's not the be all and end all. But it is funny how certain things can kind of almost fool you into thinking that's it. But and in all fairness, the only thing that's kind of I do have guitars that have never fooled me into that, and they're the really special ones. Mr. White being the ultimate. That guitar was I'm yours, and I was like, yeah, you are. And you always will be. That is my guitar forever. I say that's always my number one guitar, and I say that's the guitar that I judge all of us by. No ifs, no buts. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's not as good as my white Mexican 60s reissue Strat from 2002, I ain't interested in it. If it doesn't fill me for that feeling I get when I touch and play that guitar, then I'm not interested. It has to be up there with it. No guitar I've got is better. There isn't one. I don't think there's a guitar in the world that's better. I really don't think there is. But that's just me, But again, that guitar's been with me through everything it has. I don't play it as much as I used to because I've kind of gone through that, and I'm looking for different sounds all the time. Somebody says, I want to play a humbucker guitar, or I want to play P90s, or I want to play this guitar because those single coils sound different to these. You know what I mean? I like the switching tones now through guitars. When I got Mr. White, I had no interest in any of that. I was just like, that's it. That's all I want to play. But there's certain kind of experimentations in tonality now of different guitars and different pickups that I'm delving into now. Who knows? I mean, in a year's time, I could be back to just playing one guitar all the time. It's really strange how kind of you get how you change and how you get kind of taken on this journey. It's absolutely amazing. And like I say, what means what you think is never going to leave you 1 minute, the next minute is kind of well, I don't really need that anymore. This is I want that one more. It's so strange. It's like the Revelation RTL59 we were talking about a minute ago. I thought that was it for me. I thought, well, that's it. That's my Les Paul, because it is my Les Paul. And again, that's another guitar I will never sell. It's just perfect, and I've got so many memories, and I'm so attached to that guitar. and I love it so much I will never sell it. Granted, I don't play it as much anymore because of this thing. But the same thing happened with the vintage lemon drop. As soon as the RTL came in, I stopped playing the lemon drop because the RTL was just more of what I wanted in that Les Paul tone. And when this came along, this is even more. You know, it's like I started off with the Epiphone down here, and I've had a couple of other Les Pauls in that time. But then, like the vintage lemon drop came in, and it was there, and then the Revelation was there, and then now this one's here. You know, I like that. And just when you think you're done, you're not. You know, it's one of those things, and I think that's a thing in life. Really, it's just when you think like, you know, you're settled, or you're kind of like you know what you're doing. You know, things will turn and they'll flip on you. And I think that's an important thing, really, kind of like to understand that as a human, we need to understand that we know nothing about anything, really. You know, we don't know what's around the corner. I mean, look at the world. I mean, none of us know what's coming. So it's just a case of just, you know, go with the flow, so to say, as best you can. You know, because who knows what's around the corner? Who knows what tomorrow is? You know, and I like the idea of just kind of like changing things and things changing and just kind of letting that be. You know, I used to kind of fight against that kind of thing, and I'm still not very good with change. I fear change, but I'm still not very good with that in certain respects, and I like things certain ways because of where I am and stuff like that. But when it comes down to kind of like listening to what music wants, like for instance, like, you know, music, like the other day I was like, oh, I want to play this guitar, and music goes, no, you're playing this guitar. It's like, okay. You know, that back a couple of years ago, that would have really annoyed me and probably bugged me, and I'd have ended up playing the wrong guitar, and as a result of that, the piece of music wouldn't have been as good as it should have been. You know, because I was going against music. Now I don't go against music anymore. If it wants the gold top, if it wants the Jet or the Ernie Ball here or any of the other guitars I've got, that's what it gets. You know, because music is the, you know, it knows better than I do. Like I say, I'm just a marionette. That's all I am to it. You know, it's got my strings, and it you know, it plays my strings so I can play these strings, basically. You know, it's as simple as that. And I'm happy with that. I've got no problem letting it do what it does because it makes me happy, and I love it, and it just gives me purpose and meaning and reason to be, which for a lot of my life I didn't have. So it's nice. Well, not for a lot of my life, but for a certain period of my life I didn't have, and it just makes me feel like I am actually worth something at the end of the day, whereas all my voices in my head, including today, think I'm worthless and useless and shouldn't be breathing right now, and it's obscene that I am. That's the inside of my head, people have achieved today. But yeah, so when it comes down to finding the guitar that you love and want to just play, and is you, play everything. Go to your guitar shop and play everything. Even the things you think you might not even like. Try it all. One day, one will go bong, and they'll go, oh, there it is. Whether it's a Strat, Les Paul, Beta Rich, Warlock, Flying V, who knows? You know, it could be anything. It could be anything, you know. Yeah, I mean, you never know. You might find you prefer playing acoustic guitar to electric guitar, or electric guitar to acoustic guitar, or mandolin. You know, who knows? But again, we're forever evolving. Human beings are forever evolving and changing. We are just basically changelings anyway. At the end of the day, everything kind of changes in us. You know, we fluctuate. You know, anybody who says they don't isn't, you know, is I won't say is telling 100% truth there. I think we all have to change one way or another. We alter to certain things, and certain things we like and love alter as well. You know, certain things don't, but some things will. You know, I don't think anybody is born the way they die, if that makes any sense. Everybody changes through whatever happens to them in life, or whatever's been told to them, or whatever their experiences are. You know, everybody changes, you know, at some point. No one stays the person they were when they were born, or a child, or whatever. You know, there's always change going on, and we're always evolving and moving in our direction. You know, we're always walking our path. You know, we're not walking anybody else's. We're on our way. So it's an interesting thing, is life, my dears. Yes, it is. And I can't believe I just said my dears. That's a bit weird, isn't it? Anyway, but yeah, I sound like some kind of weird old man now. But yeah, so when it comes down to stuff like that, it'll find you eventually. You just got to be open to it, and you've got to try everything. You know, you've got to put it out there to the universe in the first place. You know, to go, I want something, and you know, eventually the universe will hear you, and it will give it to you. But you just got to be patient, and until that time, you have to wait for it. You know, and we all have to wait. We all have to wait. I mean, again, like I say, who knows what's coming? Who knows what's around the corner? Who knows what tomorrow's going to bring, or whatever. We're living in a really weird world right now, and it's kind of, I would say, it's more backwards than it's ever been. You know, what we should be caring about, we don't care about, and what we care about, we shouldn't care about. But again, you know, it's my opinion. I'm not going to get into the whole politics of the world. That's not what this channel is. This isn't the channel for that. This is a channel for hopefully people to come and escape all that. That's what I want this channel to be. I don't want this channel to be bogged down by politics or the world or the horribleness that's going on in the world. I want people to come here and escape it for however long they can, because that's all and that's because that's the power of music, and that's all we've got, really. Because we don't have we as normal, you know, lower class people, we don't have the power to change anything. We can't stop politicians from being dickheads. We are at their mercy whether we like it or not. You know, we really are. So this channel isn't about them. This channel isn't about the horrors of the world. This channel is about escape and release and peace, and just being able to, just for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 20 minutes, whatever, just to escape the world and its craziness and just be and just exist in a place of either happiness, sadness, loneliness, whatever it is that you need to escape into. That's what I want this to be. That's what music does. That's what music is. You know, it gives that ability. You know, it saves us. And you can tell it's, you know, it's powerful. Everybody knows how powerful music is to them. You know, I know how powerful music is to me. You know, so, you know, that's what this channel's about. It's not about me chiming in on the latest politics row or whatever. It's about escape and release and music and embracing who we are instead of whatever else. I just can't cope I can't cope with what's going on with any of this. And I just want to, like I said, I just want to escape. And that's what the guitar and music does for me. It takes me out of all this. You know, and that's what I want to do. That's all I want to do with my music and when I play guitar is I want people just to be able to forget whatever's going on. I just want them to find some kind of peace. And if I can facilitate that with my music and my guitar playing, then that's all that matters. And that's all I care about. That is literally all I care about. That's when it comes down to playing music. That is my number one goal. I'm not interested in showing off. I don't do that kind of thing anymore. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. It was very unfulfilling. My goal is to express feelings through the guitar, and in so hoping to help others vent and feel better in themselves as well, if I can. It's very, very difficult, people achieve, but hopefully I can do that to some extent. Hopefully, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's the last question, PeopleTube. So anyway, I hope I answered your questions okay today, PeopleTube. I hope there's something in there you can take away. I'm going to get off now. Yeah, and I'll see you again for another video on Friday. I forget what it is, but I'll see you again on Friday. Hopefully I'll be out of this hole on Friday, hopefully. I'm just going to go and relax and play guitar and yeah, I don't know. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video for what it is, PeopleTube, and I'll see you again on Friday for another one. Have a great morning, afternoon, good evening until then. go and escape. Go and listen to music and just close your eyes and, you know, go for a walk in the woods. You know, go for a walk out anywhere that's not near anywhere and just escape. It's something we've lost and we shouldn't lose. If that makes any sense. Probably not. I don't know. But it's how I feel anyway, PG. But anyway, like I say, this isn't a politics channel. We're not talking about that. We're here to show our love and respect to music and to each other as well. To respect each other, not to shoot anything down. It's pointless. We're not here long enough. What's the point? What is the point? Anyway, thank you very much indeed for watching, people. Like I say, if you want to submit a question for Anki Wednesday, please go to the description box below. There is an email link. Yeah. Other than that, thank you very much indeed. I'll see you Friday. Have a good one. Till then. Goodbye.